Everybody agreeing with 1,000 rent? Everybody agrees with 1,000? It is not 1,000. Ni 1,000 kweli? 17,000 he says. So rent paid for the year is 8,000. This is what was paid. Then you look at January, wanasema prepayment. This is an opening balance, not at the end of the year. Come at the end of the year, you subtract, isn't it? But this is at the beginning of the year. So it was subtracted last year, this year you add it. This is opening balance, so it's added. This is in January. Come at the end of the year, we subtract repayment, but this is in January. Then at the end of the year, kuna accrual is 5,000. So accruals at the end of the year are added. So rent expense is 17,000. Then we have head office expenses. Head office expenses, the 3,000. That's head office expenses. Then there are other expenses. Nasema they are all allowable. That's other expenses, so total allowed expenses is 2,000. Any questions so far? Yeah, we'll look at our last question, but that will be your assignment. There's a theory part of A and B we'll do together, then I'll let you try the C part. It will be the same as Sakata. The only difference is there are two projects. You're gonna project mbili badala ya moja. So the question I want you to look at is not in your, now it's in your past paper, in November 2019. November 2019, question 4. November 2019, question 4 you have. Inaitwa Benita Contractors. November 2019, question 4 is called Benita Contractor. We'll attempt the theory, but I'll let you try the other bit. So it will be similar to what we've done already, except for the fact that it has two contracts instead of one. It has an office project, and the other one I think is a hospital project. So you'll have two columns instead of one. So we can turn to November 2019, question 4. Yes. Si ulikuwa hapa tukifanya investment allowances. Unakumbuka investment allowances? Plant ni other machinery. Hiyo ni investment allowance. So tumeiweka tu kwa kategori ya other machine 10%. So we are looking at question 4 of November 2019. November 2019, question 4A says, one-stop border posts, they're calling them OS, BPs, are a fairly recent cross-border trade initiative, which has significantly changed the way neighboring countries conduct business with each other. Required, explain the meaning of OSBPs, summarize 4 benefits of OSBPs, and B, describe 4 functions of tax agents. So, for part A, Roman 1, just say one-stop border posts, in brackets OSBPS, one-stop border posts in brackets OS, in brackets, one-stop border posts in brackets OSBPs. So what are these? You say these are a trade facilitation. These are a trade facilitation tool. These are a trade facilitation tool. These are a trade facilitation tool at the common borders. These are trade facilitation tool at the common borders. Intended to promote a coordinated, and integrated. These are a trade facilitation tool, the common borders, intended to promote a coordinated and integrated approach to facilitating of trade, movement, and improvement of security. To facilitating of trade movement and improvement of security. Next point, OSBPs combine. OSBPs combine 2 stops into 1. OSBPs combine 2 stops into 1 for the national border control. OSBPs combine 2 stops into 1 for the national border control functions. In a shared space. For exiting one country. In a shared space for exiting one country and entering into another country. In a shared space for exiting one country and entering into another country. So essentially what one border stops post mean, but I'm sure you've been to the border post where you, on the Kenyan side, they inspect your papers and your goods. When you cross again, you find another inspection, probably the Ugandan side or the Tanzanian side. But this concept means these two teams sit together so that when they have to inspect goods or they have to inspect papers, it's done at once. So that when you finish with them, you just move. That's what the concept means. And if the two countries agree, then you don't have to do inspection in this country, then carry out inspection again in the other country, which cause a lot of delay, and a lot of processes. It can be done in one stop. Then Roman 2 was asking us to explain what is the benefit of this. So what is the benefit? So summarize 4 benefits of OSBPs. So just say benefits of OSBPs, benefits of OSBPs, benefits of OSBPs. The first benefit, it harmonizes border control regulations. It harmonizes border control regulations and procedures. It harmonizes border control regulations and procedures, which leads to faster and more effective, which leads to faster and more effective, which leads to faster and more effective border control mechanisms, which leads to faster and more effective border control mechanisms, which leads to faster and more effective border control mechanisms. So that's benefit number 1. Next benefit, another bullet. It reduces the number of stops. It reduces the number of stops. It reduces the number of stops by consignments. It reduces the number of stops by consignments at border posts. It reduces the number of stops by consignments at border posts. Since border control activities are at a single location. Since border control activities are at a single location, thus there are no repeated clearing procedures. Thus, there are no repeated clearing procedures. There are no repeated clearing procedures. Another benefit, it enables joint technical training. It enables joint technical training. It enables joint technical training of border control officials. It enables joint technical training of border control officials from different countries, to ensure a common understanding, of border control operations, Another benefit, there is improved and increased free movement. There is improved and increased free movement of persons. There is improved and increased free movement of persons and development. There is improved and increased free movement of persons and development across bordering countries. Across bordering countries. Next advantage, there is improved predictability. There is improved predictability. There is improved predictability of border and transit procedures. There is improved predictability of border and transit procedures. Since one does not deal with border officials, there is improved predictability of border and transit procedures. Since one does not deal with border officials separately, since one does not deal with border officials separately, as it used to be, then finally, there is reduced operating costs. There is reduced operating costs. There is reduced operating costs due to reduced time. There is reduced operating costs due to reduced time and turnaround process. There is reduced operating costs due to reduced time and turnaround process if one deals in several countries, at the same time. If one deals in several countries at the same time. So that was theory of part A. You could put any 4 advantages after getting, of course, the meaning. Then B is different. B asks you, describe 4 functions of a tax agent. So what are the functions of a tax agent? So B, functions of tax agents. Functions of tax agents. Functions of tax agents. Yes. Okay, a tax agent is a representative of a taxpayer. So you can apply to, as a professional accountant, if you're a professional accountant, like now you're going to be at this stage, once you register with this ISPAC, you could apply through ISPAC. They approve you as a professional. So that the procedure is different from a person who applies directly to KRA. You can also apply directly to KRA and you attach your qualifications and they consider. Once they approve, then you can act on behalf of a taxpayer on any matter with KRA, filing returns, making payments for taxes, appearing before the commissioner in case there are appeals, and even advising your client on any matter relating to tax. You become a representative for your client. You don't have to go through excess. Which one is that? Yeah. No, it's not necessary. For you guys, since you're going to become a tax professional, there are 2 routes. You either apply directly to KRA, give them your qualifications, then they'll approve. And they approve, you become one. Alternatively, you could join ISPAC after you're qualified. Then you apply through ISPAC. So you can get approval as a professional through ISPAC or directly through KRA. So functions of a tax agent or tax agents. The first function, to prepare and submit tax returns. To prepare and submit tax returns. To prepare and submit tax returns on behalf of a taxpayer. To prepare and submit tax returns on behalf of a taxpayer. To prepare and submit tax returns on behalf of a taxpayer. Next function, to liaise. Liaise is L-I-A-I-S-E. To liaise and communicate with the Revenue Authority. To liaise and communicate with the Revenue Authority. To liaise and communicate with the Revenue Authority on any matters and issues, on any matters or issues, on any matters or issues relating to a taxpayer, on any matters or issues relating to a taxpayer. For example, when a taxpayer has to file, a notice, for example, when a taxpayer has to file a notice of objection. For example, when a taxpayer has to file a notice of objection. Another function, to advise and represent a taxpayer. To advise and represent a taxpayer on any tax matters. To advise and represent a taxpayer on any tax matters before the commissioner, on any tax matters before the commissioner or the tax tribunal, on any matters before the commissioner or the tax tribunal. And finally, to deal with any other matter or matters, to deal with any other matters, to deal with any other matters relating to tax, to deal with any other matters relating to tax on behalf of a taxpayer, to deal with any other matters relating to tax on behalf of a taxpayer, on behalf of a taxpayer. So that's it. So you can make an attempt for Benita contractors. Like I said, it's very similar to Sakata. The only creativity the examiner put there is to add another project. So there are two projects. There's an office and there's a hospital. Otherwise, the process is the same. You will find similar things to do there, similar adjustments for accruals and repayments. So I think we are then done for this class. Our next topic should be investigations. We'll be looking at investigations. But of course, we'll briefly look at the new term in the next class. Then we can start on the next topic. Investigations are three areas. We'll be looking at income tax investigation or payee investigation, as it's famously called, or payee audit. Then you're going to look at back duty investigation. Then you end with VAT investigation. I will not, there's a fourth investigation for customs. I will not look at that for the simple reason I used to discuss it, but I've not seen them examining that area. So I would not want to take a lot of time on an area that doesn't frequently come. Actually, I've not seen any question on customs duty investigation, so I stopped looking at customs duty, but we'll definitely look at payee or payee audit, which comes often. We look at back duty, which is very frequently examined, and then VAT, which again is very, very frequent. So we are done. Any question?
After this, we have done this syllabus.
No. Fortunately or unfortunately, that will not be the end of syllabus. After hiyo cross-border, after hiyo kuna cross-border trade. Cross-border trade also has a number of issues. You have double taxation agreements, but these are very, very short themes. You have regional economic integration. You have things like transfer pricing, and you have things like what is the other aspect? Transfer pricing, and then issues like that will come in cross-border. Then is when we go to the last topic. The last topic is called tax planning. So tax planning will be the last area, and we are done.
We have a class.
Tomorrow sijaona kama kuna any arrangement hapa. So normally they arrange somebody to come and open. Sijaona kama the guy who usually comes, Mr. Fanyaku, sijamuona hapa leo. Ningemuona ningemuuliza. So just sasa ni class moja, we can arrange any other time. Kama we book in a early, kufungua yuko hapa, we are sure it will be open. And it's easier like that. So probably tomorrow we might not meet, but we can arrange for a makeup any other day. Hapo next week. Sawa. So have yourselves a great weekend.